The rain was hitting the windows so hard it sounded like tiny stones. Maya sat on her bedroom floor, staring at the engagement ring in her palm. Just 3 hours ago, this same ring was on her finger, and she thought her life was perfect. Now, everything felt like a bad dream. I can't do this anymore, Ryan had said, not even looking at her. I need to figure out who I am without you. Those words kept playing in her head like a broken record. 3 years together. 3 years of planning their future, talking about kids, even picking out paint colors for their dream house, all gone in one conversation. Maya tried calling her best friend Lisa, but it went straight to voicemail. She tried again, still nothing. Maybe Lisa was busy, she told herself. But deep down, she knew Lisa had been acting strange lately. Ever since Maya lost her job at the marketing company 2 months ago, people seemed different around her, like being unemployed was something that might spread. Her phone buzzed. A text from Ryan. Can you move your stuff out by Sunday? My brother needs a place to stay. Maya felt her chest get tight. This was their apartment. Well, technically his apartment, but she had lived here for 2 years. She had helped pick out the couch they were sitting on when he broke up with her. She had painted the kitchen walls that soft yellow color he said he loved. Now she had for days to find a new place to live. She opened her laptop and started looking at apartments. The cheapest one-bedroom was still more than she could afford without a job. Her savings account had exactly $843. That might cover a deposit, but then what? She applied for 17 jobs last week and heard back from 0. Her phone rang. Mom. Hi, sweetheart. How are you doing? Maya almost started crying just hearing her mother's voice. Maybe she would understand. Maybe she would offer to help. Mom, Ryan and I broke up, and I need to find a place to live by Sunday. Silence. Then a long sigh. Oh, Maya, what did you do? The question hit her like a slap. What did she do? Why was it automatically her fault? I didn't do anything, Mom. He said he needs space to find himself. Well, honey, you have been pretty clingy lately. Remember what I always told you about being too dependent on men. Maybe this is good for you. You need to learn to stand on your own 2 feet. Maya felt something break inside her chest. Her own mother thought this was her fault too. Her own mother thought she deserved this. I have to go. Mom. Maya, wait. I'm just trying to help you see that. She hung up. The apartment felt so quiet now. Even the rain had stopped. Maya walked to the kitchen and opened the refrigerator. Mostly Ryan's food. His fancy organic yogurt, his protein drinks, his leftover pizza from the place she was allergic to. She grabbed a water bottle and sat at their little dining table. The table where they had breakfast every morning for 2 years. Where they planned their wedding that would never happen now. Her phone kept buzzing with notifications. Instagram posts of happy couples. LinkedIn job postings she wasn't qualified for. Facebook memories from better times. She turned it off and threw it on the couch. The worst part wasn't even Ryan leaving. The worst part was how everyone else seemed to agree with him. Lisa hadn't called her back in 3 days. Her brother James said he was too busy with work stuff to talk when she called yesterday. Even her co-workers from her old job had stopped inviting her to their weekly happy hours. After she got laid off, it was like being unemployed and single. Made her invisible. Like she was a problem nobody wanted to deal with. Maya looked around the apartment at all her things mixed in with Ryan's. Her books on his bookshelf. Her coffee mug in his kitchen cabinet. Her life tangled up with someone who decided she wasn't worth fighting for. Someone who could throw away 3 years like it meant nothing. She opened her laptop again and started looking at studios in cheaper parts of town. Places with bars on the windows and bad reviews about noise. Places she never thought she would have to consider. Her dream of being a successful marketing professional living in a nice apartment with the man she loved felt like something that happened to a different person. The apartment door opened. Ryan walked in with 2 coffee cups. I brought you your usual, he said, setting a latte on the counter. Like buying her coffee would somehow make breaking her heart okay. Thanks, she said, not looking at him. Maya, I know this is hard, but we both know things haven't been good for a while. She wanted to scream. Things had been hard because she lost her job. Things had been stressful because money was tight. But she thought they were in it together. She thought that's what love meant. I just need some time to figure out what I want, Ryan continued. Maybe in a few months. Don't. Maya said. Just don't. She couldn't listen to him talk about maybe getting back together someday. She couldn't live on false hope while she rebuilt her entire life. That night, Maya lay in bed staring at the ceiling. Ryan was sleeping on the couch, which should have made her feel better but somehow made everything worse. Tomorrow she would start looking for apartments she could actually afford. Tomorrow she would keep applying for jobs that probably wouldn't call her back. Tomorrow she would try to figure out how to build a life by herself when she had never really been alone before. She had always been someone's daughter, someone's girlfriend, someone's employee. Now she was just Maya, and she wasn't even sure who that was anymore. 3 months had passed since Maya moved into the tiny studio apartment on Oak Street. The place was so small she could touch both walls if she stretched her arms out wide. The heating barely worked, and her upstairs neighbor played music until 2 in the morning most nights. But it was all she could afford with her new job at Corner Coffee. Every morning at 5:30, Maya's alarm would buzz. She would roll out of the air mattress she still slept on because she couldn't afford a real bed yet. The coffee shop opened at 6, and Mrs. Patterson, her boss, didn't like it when anyone was even a minute late. Large coffee, 2 sugars, no cream. The businessman in the expensive suit would order every day at 7:15. He never looked at Maya when he spoke, just stared at his phone while she made his drink. Sometimes she wondered what it felt like to have enough money that you didn't have to worry about rent or groceries or whether your car would start in the morning. Maya's old life felt like watching someone else's movie. She used to create advertising campaigns for big companies. She used to wear nice clothes and go to business lunches. Now she wore a brown apron with coffee stains and served people who looked right through her. The worst part was how tired she felt all the time. Not just physically tired from standing for 8 hours, but tired deep in her bones. Like someone had turned down the brightness on everything around her. Food didn't taste as good. Music didn't make her want to dance. Even sunny days felt gray. She tried to stay positive at first. This is just temporary, she would tell herself while mopping the coffee shop floor. Things will get better. But every job application she sent out came back with the same answer. Thank you for your interest, but we have decided to go with another candidate. After 50 rejection emails, Maya stopped counting. Her phone hardly rang anymore. Lisa had called once in the first month, but the conversation was awkward. They had nothing to talk about. Lisa was still living her old life, the life Maya used to have. Going to nice restaurants, planning weekend trips, complaining about problems that seemed so small now. You should come out with us Friday, Lisa had said. We're going to that new place downtown. Maya looked at her bank account. After rent and groceries, she had $37 left for the month. I can't this week. Maybe next time. But there was no next time. Lisa stopped calling, and Maya was too proud to explain why she couldn't afford a $20 dinner anymore. Her family wasn't much better. Her mom called every few weeks to ask if she had figured things out yet. Her brother James sent her a birthday card with $50 inside and a note that said, "Hope things turn around soon." Like her life was just a bad weather pattern that would pass. The loneliness was the hardest part. Maya would come home to her tiny apartment after work and sit on her one chair, eating instant noodles and watching shows on her laptop. She would hear her neighbors laughing through the thin walls and wonder what it felt like to have something to laugh about. Sometimes she would walk to the park after work, just to be around other people, families having picnics, couples walking their dogs, kids playing on the swings. Everyone seemed to belong somewhere except her. One evening, Maya was looking through her old photos on her phone. Pictures from her college graduation, her old job, vacations with Ryan. She looked so happy in those photos, so confident, like she knew exactly who she was and where she was going. Now she felt like a completely different person, someone small and forgettable. Someone who messed up coffee orders and went home to an empty apartment every night. She started to believe what everyone seemed to be thinking. Maybe Ryan was right to leave. Maybe she really was too much trouble. Maybe her mom was right about her being too dependent. Maybe she just wasn't strong enough to handle real life. The thoughts got darker as the weeks went on. What was the point of getting up every morning? What was the point of trying so hard when nothing ever got better? She felt invisible at work. Invisible to her old friends. Invisible to her family. Sometimes she wondered if anyone would even notice if she just disappeared. One particularly bad day, a customer yelled at her for making his drink wrong. Her manager made her work late to clean the storage room. Her car wouldn't start, so she had to walk home in the rain. By the time she got to her apartment building, Maya was soaking wet and crying. She sat down on the steps outside, not caring that the rain was still falling. Her clothes were already ruined anyway. Her life was already ruined anyway. Everything felt impossible. The thought of going upstairs to her empty apartment, eating another sad dinner alone, and waking up tomorrow to do it all again made her feel sick. Maya put her head in her hands and cried harder than she had since the day Ryan left. She cried for her old life, for her lost confidence, for the person she used to be. She cried because she felt so small and worthless and alone. The rain kept falling, soaking through her jacket and making her shiver. But she couldn't move. She couldn't face another night of pretending everything was okay when nothing was okay. She couldn't keep acting like she was fine when she was falling apart. Maya felt like she was drowning, and nobody was there to pull her out of the water. She was completely, utterly alone, and she didn't know how to save herself anymore. Maya was still sitting on the wet steps when she heard footsteps behind her. She quickly wiped her eyes, hoping whoever it was would just walk past. The last thing she wanted was for a stranger to see her falling apart. "Excuse me, are you okay?" The voice was gentle, concerned. Maya looked up to see a man in scrubs holding an umbrella. He looked tired, like he had just finished a long day at work, but his eyes were kind. "I'm fine," Maya said automatically, the light coming easily after months of practice. The man didn't move. "You don't look fine, and you're getting soaked." He held the umbrella over both of them. "I'm Alex. By the way, I work at the hospital down the street." Maya hesitated. She had gotten used to people walking past her problems, but something in Alex's voice made her feel like he actually cared about the answer. "I'm Maya," she said quietly. "Maya, I know we just met, but I've been where you are, sitting in the rain, feeling like the world has forgotten about you." Alex sat down on the step beside her, not caring that his scrubs were getting wet. "Want to talk about it?" Something about the way he said it broke down Maya's walls. Maybe it was because he was a stranger, or maybe it was because she had been holding everything inside for so long. But she found herself telling him everything. About Ryan, about losing her job, about feeling invisible and worthless. Alex listened, without interrupting. He didn't try to fix her problems or tell her everything happens for a reason. He just listened like her words actually mattered. "I lost my job 2 years ago," Alex said when she finished. "Got behind on my rent. Had to move back in with my parents at 30 years old. My girlfriend left me because she said I wasn't going anywhere in life." He laughed, but not in a mean way. "I spent a lot of nights sitting in parking lots, wondering what was wrong with me." Maya looked at him. "But you're a nurse now. You help people." "I am. But it took me a long time to get here. And I only made it because someone showed me that my life had value, even when I couldn't see it myself." Over the next few weeks, Alex started showing up in Maya's life in small ways. He would stop by the coffee shop on his way to work and always left a big tip. Not in a way that made her feel like charity, but like he genuinely enjoyed their conversations. When Maya mentioned she was walking to work because her car was broken, Alex offered to take a look at it. He spent his day off fixing her engine and wouldn't let her pay him. "Why are you being so nice to me?" Maya asked as they stood in the parking lot of her apartment building, her car running smoothly for the first time in months. Alex smiled. "Because someone was nice to me when I needed it most." and because you deserve kindness, Maya. Even if you don't believe that right now, Maya felt something she hadn't felt in months. Hope. Tiny, fragile, but real. Alex started inviting her to do small things, getting coffee after her shift, walking in the park, watching movies at his apartment. Nothing that felt like pressure or expectations, just friendship. But Maya found herself looking forward to seeing him. For the first time in months, she had something to be excited about. You know what I think, Alex said one evening as they walked through downtown. I think you're stronger than you realize. You've been carrying all this weight by yourself, and you're still here. You're still fighting. Maya had never thought of it that way. She had been so focused on all the ways she was failing that she hadn't noticed she was surviving. Every day she got up and went to work, even when she didn't want to. Every day she kept trying. Even when everything felt hopeless. I don't feel strong, she admitted. Strong people usually don't, Alex said. That's what makes them strong. Maya started to see herself differently through Alex's eyes. Not as someone broken and worthless, but as someone who had been through hard things and was still standing. Someone who deserved good things, even if those good things had been missing. For a while, as spring turned into summer, Maya's friendship with Alex grew deeper. But with that growth came fear. Every time Alex did something kind, every time he showed up when he said he would, Maya waited for the other shoe to drop. She had learned that people leave, and she couldn't bear the thought of losing someone else who mattered to her. What if he gets tired of me too? Maya asked herself every night. What if he realizes I'm too much trouble? The fear made her do things that didn't make sense. When Alex invited her to a barbecue with his friends, she said she was busy, then spent the day alone in her apartment. When he brought her soup because she mentioned feeling sick, she barely thanked him and quickly changed the subject. Maya, did I do something wrong? Alex asked one evening after she had been particularly distant. You seem like you're pulling away from me. Maya's first instinct was to lie, to say everything was fine. But Alex had earned honesty from her. I'm scared, she admitted. Everyone leaves eventually. My ex-fiancé, my friends, even my family. Stop caring. I'm scared that if I let myself care about you, you'll leave too. Alex was quiet for a long moment. I understand that fear. When my ex left, I built walls so high I couldn't see over them myself. I told myself I was protecting myself, but really I was just making myself more alone. How did you get past it? Maya asked. Slowly, one day at a time. And I had help from people who didn't give up on me, even when I gave up on myself. Alex never pressured Maya to trust him faster than she could manage. When she had bad days and pushed him away, he gave her space but sent simple texts, thinking of you. Hope your day gets better. Here if you need me. Never demanding responses. Just letting her know she wasn't alone. Gradually, Maya began to let her guard down. She started sharing more about her dreams, her fears, her hopes for the future. Alex listened to all of it with the same patient attention he had given her that first rainy night. I used to love creating things, Maya told him one evening as they sat in his small garden behind his house, marketing campaigns, designs, writing. I haven't felt creative in months. What's stopping you now? Alex asked. Maya thought about it. I guess I stopped believing I was good at anything. The next week, Alex surprised her with a small desk and some art supplies. I thought maybe you could try creating again, just for fun, not for anyone else. Maya stared at the gifts, feeling overwhelmed. Alex, this is too much. I can't. Yes, you can, he said gently. You can accept good things, Maya. You can let people care about you. That weekend, Maya sat at the little desk and started sketching for the first time in months. Her hands felt rusty at first, but slowly the joy of creating came back to her. She drew flowers, faces, abstract designs that came from somewhere deep inside her that had been quiet for too long. Alex celebrated every small victory with her. When she finished her first drawing, he insisted on hanging it on his refrigerator. When she started a small freelance project for the coffee shop's new menu design, he told everyone he knew about her talent. Why do you believe in me so much? Maya asked him one day. because I can see who you really are. Alex said, not the person you became when life got hard, but the person you've always been underneath. Creative, strong, caring, beautiful. That person never went anywhere, Maya. She was just hiding until it was safe to come out again. Maya began to see that love didn't have to be complicated or conditional. It could be as simple as someone showing up consistently, listening without judgment, and believing in your worth even when you couldn't believe in it yourself. But learning to trust again wasn't easy. There were days when old fears crept back in, when Maya would test Alex's patience or create problems just to see if he would stay. Every time, he chose to stay, not because he was perfect, but because he understood that healing takes time. I'm not going anywhere, Maya. He would tell her during her worst moments, you're not too much. You're not too broken. You're not to anything except exactly who you're supposed to be. Slowly, Maya started to believe him. 2 years later, Maya barely recognized her old life. She was sitting in the same garden where Alex had first encouraged her to create again. But now it was their garden. The little desk had been replaced with a whole art studio in what used to be Alex's spare bedroom. Her freelance design business had grown beyond anything she had imagined. Word spread about her work, and now she had more clients than she could handle. But more than the professional success, Maya had found something she didn't know she was looking for: herself. Remember when you used to apologize for taking up space, Alex said. Coming out to the garden with 2 cups of coffee, it had become their Sunday morning tradition. Maya laughed. I apologized for everything back then. For being sad, for needing help, for having opinions. Now look at you. Yesterday you told that difficult client exactly what you thought about his terrible logo ideas. He needed to hear it, Maya said, grinning, and he paid me extra to fix it. The woman who had once felt invisible now knew her own value. She had learned to set boundaries, to ask for what she needed, to walk away from situations that didn't serve her. She had learned the difference between being alone and being lonely, between being loved and being needed. Alex had been patient through all of it, through her good days and bad days, through her breakthroughs and setbacks. He had never tried to rush her healing or fix her problems for her. Instead, he had simply been present, consistent, and kind. Maya, Alex said, setting down his coffee cup, there's something I want to ask you. Maya looked up from the flowers she was sketching. Alex was holding a small box, and her heart started beating faster. I'm not asking because I think you need me to complete you, he said. You've shown me that you're complete all by yourself. I'm asking because I want to choose you every day for the rest of my life. And I want you to choose me too. Maya looked at the ring, then at Alex's face. 2 years ago, the idea of marriage would have terrified her. It would have felt like giving up her independence, like risking another devastating loss. But now she understood that the right person didn't take away your strength. They helped you find more of it. Yes, she said, and she meant it completely. As Alex slipped the ring onto her finger, Maya thought about the woman she used to be. The one who sat crying in the rain, feeling worthless and forgotten. That woman had been so afraid of being too much that she had made herself too little. She had believed that love was something she had to earn, something that could be taken away if she wasn't perfect enough. Now Maya knew better. Real love wasn't about being perfect. It was about being seen, accepted, and valued exactly as you are. It was about finding someone who didn't just tolerate your flaws, but loved you because of your complicated, beautiful humanity. I need to tell you something, Maya said, looking into Alex's eyes. That night when you found me, crying in the rain, I was ready to give up on everything. I felt so alone and worthless that I didn't think my life mattered anymore. Alex squeezed her hand gently. But you showed me that I was wrong, Maya continued. Not just about whether my life mattered, but about what love actually looks like. Love isn't someone trying to fix you or change you. It's someone seeing you exactly as you are and saying, yes, this person is worth my time, my energy, my care. Maya had learned that sometimes you have to lose everything you think you want to find what you actually need. Losing Ryan had felt like the end of the world, but it had made room for Alex. Losing her job had felt like failure, but it had led her to work she actually loved. Being abandoned by fair-weather friends had taught her the value of people who stay. You know what the funny thing is? Maya said as they sat together in their garden, planning their future. I spent so long thinking I was too much for anyone to handle. But I wasn't too much at all. I was just with people who were too little. Alex smiled. You were never the problem, Maya. You were just looking for your people. Maya looked around at the life they had built together. Not just the house and the garden and the successful business, but the daily choice to show up for each other, to communicate openly, to support each other's dreams, to be gentle with each other's fears. She had found her person, but more importantly, she had found herself, the creative, strong, living woman who had been hiding under years of other people's expectations and rejections. The woman who deserved good things not because she had earned them, but simply because she existed. As the sun set over their garden, Maya realized that being abandoned by the wrong people had been the best thing that ever happened. To her, it had cleared the path for the right person to find her, and for her to find herself. Sometimes the greatest love stories aren't about finding someone to complete you. Sometimes they're about finding someone who helps you remember that you were whole all along.